Hey there, sports fans. Are you ready for some Marquette athletics?
How about we wrap up the fall semester and look forward to the spring semester? This is the Golden Eagle Sports Report. Hey there, I'm Denny Gallagher, and alongside me is Mike Cianciolo.
Marquette men's basketball struggled last season in the SEC Big East Challenge at LSU in a game they would lose. In this season's SEC Big East matchup, Marquette was throttled in Gainesville by the Gators. There was only one player to score more than 6 points in this contest for the blue and gold. Vander Blue provided the only flash of offensive brilliance, scoring 20 points for MU. The Golden Eagles attempted just 9 free throws, hitting only 4. And they returned home to Milwaukee with a 49-82 loss.
Let's take a look at the schedule for your Marquette Golden Eagles. Some big matchups over break as Bud Williams and his squad look to avenge the loss against LSU. On New Year's Day, we welcome UConn to the Bradley Center, followed by Georgetown and Pitt before the students head back for the matchup against the Seton Hall Pirates.
A sad week for Marquette. Former Marquette men's basketball player, assistant, and head coach Rick Majerus passed away Saturday, December 1st. Buzz Williams had this to say about Majerus' passing, quote, "As an institution, a program, and as a coach, we are saddened by Coach Majerus' passing. The game has lost one of the great innovators whose mark will never be forgotten," end quote. On Wednesday, December 5th, the Marquette women's basketball team will travel to Madison, Wisconsin to take on the Lady Badgers in what will be the Golden Eagles' first in-state matchup of the non-conference schedule.
This Saturday, December 8th, the BMO Harris Bradley Center will host one of the country's best in-state rivalry as your Marquette men's basketball team takes on the Wisconsin Badgers at 5 p.m. The game will be broadcast on ESPN2. Sophomore Arlesia Moores and freshman Brooklyn Pomeroy led the Marquette women's basketball team on Wednesday evening to a dramatic 77-74 overtime victory at South Dakota State. Moores recorded a season-high 23 points, while Pomeroy tailed a career-best 17 at the Frost Arena. Moores shot 6 for 12, including 4 threes, while Pomeroy shot 6 for 11, and she also hit 4 shots while garnering up 3 steals.
The Marquette women were home Saturday at the Al McGuire Center to take on Fordham. The Lady Golden Eagles opened up with good guard play as they get the easy lay-in here from Christina Bajica. Marquette shot 10 for 30 from the field in the first half, and they would dominate the boards as a team and out-rebound the Rams 55-33. Here we see center Chelsea Butler knock down the open jumper for 2. Not that long later, she'd get another bucket right here and finish the game with those 4 points. The Lady Golden Eagles on the attack again. Here on the right side, they find Serena Simmons flashing in the lane as she hits the runner. Simmons finished the night with a team-high 10 points. Off the missed three-pointer here, Christina Bajica collects the missed shot and finishes the hoop and won. She'd have 8 points in this one. Marquette on the defensive side now. They'll give up a bucket to Fordham, but it wouldn't be that bad. Just a little lay-in there. Now it's Marquette's Brooklyn Pomeroy who has the rock, and she'll use the screen at the top of the key to pull up and knock down the shot. She would also have 10 points scoring. Catherine Plouffe finished with a near double-double in this one as she tallied 9 points and a season-high 13 boards. Despite a run late by Fordham, the Marquette women's basketball team pulled off a 51-48 victory. Now let's hear from head coach Terry Mitchell on her team's performance Saturday.
This time of year, it's about finding ways to win as we figure out who we are. And people look at that and say, oh, it should be a 20-point game or a 10-point game. I don't care what the game is, as long as my team's getting better. Came out of this, plenty of things to work on, but plenty of moments that I'm proud of players stepping up when they needed to. So the film will give us a direction. We are only 6 games in, and after those 6 games, we will evaluate and figure out what we need to do to prepare for the next game. we went from Atlanta to Texas to an overtime game in South Dakota State. We're tired. And that's not an excuse, but they gutted through it. So that's what I'm proud of, when you can give yourself a reason to lose and you fight through it anyway.
The MU women's basketball winter schedule is loaded with a slew of home games at the Al McGuire Center. The Lady Golden Eagles will host Toledo Saturday, December 15th at 7 p.m. for We Back Pat Night to support the Pat Summit Foundation in their efforts to benefit Alzheimer's disease. Let's go over to Denny now, who's with our analysts.
Thanks, Mike. A very interesting beginning of the season for the Marquette Golden Eagles. And I think it's safe to say that they are surprising a lot of people while creating some history of their own. What can we expect as we enter the Big East season?
Well, Denny, actually, if you compare the start of this season to last year's season, Big East Conference, we were 14-4 and second in the Big East. This year, I'm expecting Marquette around the 5th place area. Syracuse, Cincinnati, and Louisville are definitely going to take the top 3. Georgetown and Marquette are going to be battling for that 4 and 5, I think, just because even though we lost DJO and Jay Crowder, Marquette is becoming a powerhouse in the paint. Jamil Wilson, Devontae Gardner, and Chris O'Toole are each special in their own situation. And Trent Lockett and Vanderblue, as well as Junior Cadogan, are creating lots of options, but as well as providing their own scoring input.
Yeah, Shawnee mentioned the start of last season. I think if you look at it, they're a much different team than they were at the start of last year than that they are at the start of this year. They were much more ready, and I think they've showed that. Yeah, they're much more experienced, exactly, and they've showed that they're not really ready for the tough test. They won on the road and played a top 10 team, and they lost by 33. You can't really say much about that except that they really weren't prepared for that kind of challenge at this point, and they need to be able to prove that they can play in against elite competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's going to be key for them going forward into conference play is, can they beat top opponents at home? Because to be successful, they're really going to have to beat opponents in the Bradley Center this year.
Definitely. If you go off of that, I think the more they'll start playing elite opponents, each player will also gain their own specific role and know what they contribute to the team and where they stand at that time. So come that part of the season, they'll be more ready than what they look right now.
Sure.
One guy that neither of you mentioned, Todd Mayo, who is ruled out academically ineligible, expected back sometime within the next few weeks. What spark can he bring to the lineup?
Well, Denny, if you look at last year, Todd was the 4th leading scorer on the team as a freshman. That's key. You obviously can tell he was getting a lot of playing time, so him out of the lineup at the beginning of the season might have been a downfall for the Golden Eagles. He's averaged 8.4 points per game last season. So you can tell he has the scoring ability and he can help in that aspect. I just don't know if he can get back this season.
Yeah, and for me, I think Todd's a great scoring guard. He can shoot, probably one of the best shooters on the team. But there's no guarantee he'll come back. There's no guarantee he'll be eligible for the second half of this season. And he could be rusty. It'll take him a long time to shake off the rust, get back into practice form, because I think missing as much time as he has in Buzz's system is a huge
Improving
loss.
his character.
We saw that with Juan Anderson too last year. That if you're rusty, then it's going to be a struggle for you.
Well, the month of December is going to prove critical for the Marquette Golden Eagles as they look to get back to a 3rd straight consecutive Sweet 16. That's all the time we have right now. Let's send it back to Mike.
When we return, we take a look at the season that Coach Bond Shymansky and the Marquette women's volleyball team had. Welcome back, everybody. The Marquette golf team scored big Saturday, November 24th, when Henry Conglund of Stoughton, Wisconsin, signed a national letter of intent to play golf for the Golden Eagles beginning in 2013. He is currently the top-ranked golfer in the state of Wisconsin.
West De Pere High School prep standout Nick Dakima has signed a national letter of intent to take his talents to the Marquette University men's tennis team. Head coach Steve Roadcap announced that Dakima arrives on campus in the fall of 2013.
Track and field coach Bert Rogers announced Tuesday his team's captains for the season. Senior runners Sheldon Brown, David Carbajal, Chanel Franklin, Sarah McCourtney, Jack Seinfeld, and Kyle Winter, along with juniors Hannah Frett and Kristen Gaffey, will be the team's leaders this year.
After losing the Big East championship game, the Marquette women's volleyball team began their quest for a national title. To the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as the Marquette women's volleyball team took on the 21st ranked Creighton Blue Jays in their first round NCAA tournament. The Blue Jays took the first set 25-22 after hitting 4-12 to begin the match. Marquette's Kelsey Matei gave the Golden Eagles their final lead of the opening set at 7-6 before Creighton went on a 5-0 run to take control of the set. Marquette hung with the Blue Jays but could not cut the deficit to fewer than a pair the remainder of the set. The Blue Jays took a 2-0 lead into the intermission on the strength of a 25-23 second set victory. The Golden Eagles got off to a fast start in the second with the first 3 points before Creighton used a 5-0 run to take the lead. Marquette held its final 21-0 following a pair of consecutive attack errors by Bobber before the Jays leading their final 7 points. The third set had a 10 lead changes as Creighton fought off Marquette. They would win this one in straight sets. Now here's Coach Bond Shymansky after the loss.
I was fiercely proud of our group this season. Tonight wasn't our best performance by any stretch, but Creighton did a great job of pressing us in the right ways, and they have a pretty unique team. But I thought our team was unique too this year, and I'm certainly really pleased with a 27-7 season. We kind of told our seniors that they've left a great legacy inside of our program and the rest of the players. We said this is a moment where you can burn a little bit to learn a little bit and come back after a better season even next year. And, we feel like we're building our program into something that's perennial, so we're just going to have to keep working at it. But our whole team did a great job tonight. And I didn't feel like there was any one particular standout. There wasn't one person that cost us anything. There wasn't one person that carried us. And so we did it as a team tonight. We tried to win as a team tonight. We lost as a team tonight.
In the words of boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr., a true champion will fight through anything. The Marquette women's volleyball team finished this year with an impressive 27-7 record, including a remarkable 13-12 record in the Big East Conference. Seniors Danielle Carlson and Holly Mertens, along with junior Elizabeth Colberstein of Marquette University women's volleyball team, were named to the American Volleyball Coaches Association All-Northeast Region Team Tuesday morning. It is the first career postseason AVCA honor for Mertens and Colberstein, while Carlson earned an All-Region and All-American recognition in 2011. It is the third straight year that 3 Marquette players earned AVCA All-Northeast Region honors. To put this in perspective, we head over to Mike, Cianciolo, and the rest of our analysis gang.
Thank you, Denny. I'm here with Shawnee and Pat. Guys, the women's volleyball team ended their season with a loss to a ranked team in Creighton. Do you feel that their postseason run ended too early?
Well, I mean, if you don't win a game, it's hard to say it didn't end too early, and Coach Shymansky really did want his team to win at least one game, if not 2 or 3 in this year's NCAA tournament. I mean, obviously, you saw Denny put the record up there, 27-7, 13-2 in the Big East. Those kind of gaudy numbers you'd expect more than just a first-round exit in the NCAA tournament. But obviously, with those kind of numbers, you'll be able to say, wow, they had a great, strong regular season. They didn't get it done in the postseason. Although, personally, I felt that they didn't really have that kind of fight and sort of bulldog mentality that they needed to win important games in the postseason. But overall, they had a good season, and they'll look to build on it next year.
Yeah, going off of the loss to Creighton, I mean, if you look at the game, it went 25-22, 25-23, 28-26. It was a dogfight. It was either team's game, or sadly it didn't come up big for Marquette, but overall, like Pat said, they put in a great season.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The sets were really close, and what I said sort of about the bulldog mentality, they just didn't have it in them to grind those sets out, and they lost 3 set points in the final set, and so that was a devastating way to lose it, but they'll look to build on it next year.
Yeah, it was a close matchup. Okay, Marquette has 4 seniors that will be leaving next year, including Holly Mertens and Dani Carlson. Guys, what did the senior leadership mean to this team this season, and how will they be missed?
Well, I think you highlight Carlson and Mertens, and I think that for sure Carlson will be missed not only because of her consistent play and her very efficient play. She led the team in led the conference in hitting efficiency this season. But her just leadership on the court and her ability to inspire her teammates to play well is a really big reason why she'll be missed. And Mertens obviously is their best offensive player, led the team in kills. Really could just put some force behind her spikes, unlike any other player on the team could. So they'll need new leaders to emerge next season. They'll also miss senior middle hitter Kelsey Matei. That'll be a big loss for them as well in the middle.
Yeah, going off of what Pat said, they were a dynamic duo. If one was having a good game, they were there for each other and they boosted each other. They went together really well. So finding that dynamic duo next year will be really key. I mean, like Pat said, Mertens had 419 kills and Daniel Carlson led the team in hitting percentage. So they were definitely a really great group.
All right, that'll do it for our volleyball analysis. Thanks, guys. Now let's send it over to Denny.
Thanks, Mike. And after the break, we got all your information that you need to know about how the Marquette Golden Eagles fared in the NCAA soccer tournaments. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Both of Marquette's soccer programs were amongst the top teams in the country this fall.
However, both saw their national title hopes dashed halfway through their respective NCAA tournaments. The 2012 women's soccer team did what no other team has ever been able to do at Marquette, win a Big East title.
And now women's head coach Markus Roeders on the program taking a step forward.
Well, I think for us it was, a huge step forward. As a coach, you have some perspective over the years of, being able to see like where the program has been and where you're trying to go. And, I think this year with it being the 20th anniversary of the program at Marquette, I don't think we could have scripted any better of kind of taking that next step forward. So, all around it was a fantastic year, and we wish we could have gone a little further, but, we still got to be pleased with what we did.
The 2012 campaign for the Marquette women's soccer team includes countless memories and great moments. So, Coach Roeders, what are some of your favorite moments from the season?
I think for me personally, the two moments that stand out is the senior night, because we clinched our 4th division title against South Florida, and really how much these seniors have meant to our program, what they have done over their time this year. And then certainly, winning the Big East title in the tournament is something that we haven't done before as a program. And, I think the run that we had to go on, beating UConn, beating Notre Dame, beating Georgetown, 3 marquee teams in the league. And I think the way we did it, I think it kind of defined really our season and this group of players.
This has been a historic year for the Marquette men's soccer team as the Golden Eagles soared toward the upper echelon of college soccer.
Let's hear now from junior midfielder Eric Pothast, who's talking about the players that stepped up this season for the Golden Eagles.
I had a question coming into the season where we're going to find some goals, and so I thought Andy Huftelin had an amazing season. I think he scored 10 goals, and just breaking through, coming up for us when we needed him to score some big time goals, especially. And I thought Charlie Lyon had a rock solid year. He was a very, very good leader for us in the back, and you could just count on him to come up with a big save, when the game's on the line. So I thought those two guys in particular had really, really strong seasons for us.
The soccer program will lose 3 seniors next year, including Anthony Selvaggi and Andy Huftelin, but they look to be another dominant force in the country next season with all of its returning players. We turn to Eric Pothast once more, who tells us his thoughts on the future of the Marquette squad.
I'm already looking forward to next year. I've already started to think about it, and we're losing 3 key guys, seniors that are leaving: Ryan Robb, Anthony Selvaggi, and Andy Huftelin. Those guys are great, but again, only losing 3 out of the so many guys we had on our team, and then also bringing in some strong players as well. And another year adds another year of experience for us. So I'd say, looking forward, things are bright, and I'm also excited to just get back out there and start playing again soon.
I'm back here with Shawnee Smith, Pat Leary. I'm Danny Gallagher. What a season Marquette soccer had. But let's try to put this into perspective. How will the season be remembered for both squads?
Honestly, it was an excellent season for both squads. Definitely for the men's side, it stunned a lot of people. They only won 9 games in 2011, so coming back and being 16-4, starting the season 12-0, and beating ranked number 2 Connecticut to go number 3 in the country at one time. Very good season for them. The women were consistent and did what they were expected.
Yeah, sure. I think for the women, I think the big milestone that they hit this season was their first Big East tournament championship in the program history. They've now won 4 straight division championships, but to get that tournament championship, I think that was really important for them. Although, you know, you always have to wonder what could have been in the NCAA tournament for the women. They lost in penalties in the Sweet 16. They could have put together a much stronger run. I think they had the tools to go very deep. But the men, I think you have to think what a great regular season they had. No one really expected, again, you said the 12-0 start, but they weren't really able to keep it together towards the end. They only won 1 of their last 6 games. You know, maybe they overperformed a little bit to start the season, and that's when we saw maybe some of their truer colors towards the end. But a great season. They were really good at Valley Fields as well.
The story of what could have been plagued their offseason. But guys, what can they improve on for the future to get to that national title game?
I think the main thing for the men, like Pat said, is near the end of the season is when more of their losses came. Besides the loss at Valley Fields during the NCAA tournament, there are 3 other losses came on the road, so they definitely need to work on that aspect. But for the women, the main thing is rebuilding and replacing Big East defensive player Allie Miller. That's going to be key for their success next year.
Yeah, I agree. Allie Miller is going to be huge for the women trying to replace her. But this team has all the experience they need, and they have great forwards up front. And so I think they'll be okay. They just need to keep to take their experience in big games this year and try and get that to translate over to postseason success. And for the men, I mean, they have 2 really important additions coming in up front. C. Norte was hurt all season. He was great his freshman year 2 seasons ago. And Louis Bennett's son is a freshman for next season, and he is a really strong offensive player as well.
Well, this will definitely be a season that Marquette soccer fans talk about for a long time. Very historic. That's all the time we got. Let's send it back to Mike.
All right, to wrap up the season that was for Marquette's fall sports programs, we now give you our top 5 fall sports athletes. Starting off at number 5, we have redshirt senior Holly Mertens of the women's volleyball team. Mertens recorded a team-high 419 kills on the court for the Lady Golden Eagles this season. She garnered a multitude of individual awards throughout the year, but the most notable one was her being named to the All-Big East first team.
Made his debut in the starting 11 against the Badgers and scored the game-winning goal in double overtime in that game. He finished the season with 10 goals, 4 assists, and 24 points.
At number 3, we have 6'7" central defender Axel Hoybert of the men's soccer team. Axel started every game this season as a redshirt freshman. He tallied 19 points on 8 goals and 3 assists, while also helping the back line get 10 shutouts. Hoybert was second among all defenders in NCAA Division I in goals scored, and was named to the All-Big East rookie team.
Coming in at the 2 spot, we have senior midfielder Allie Miller, 4 spot rather, Allie Miller. She tallied a total 7 goals with 1 assist along the way. Miller gathered some hardware, being named 2012 Big East Most Outstanding Defensive Player and Big East Defensive Player of the Year. She was also named to the 2012 Big East All-Tournament Team and All-Big East First Team.
And our number 1 player for fall sports at Marquette is none other than middle hitter Danny Carlson. The senior women's volleyball star was second on the team in total blocks this season with 123 and was also a Golden Eagle representative on the Big East Conference All-Tournament team. Carlson was also made her way to the All-Big East First Team squad. That will conclude the Golden Eagle Sports Report. Thanks for watching, everyone. For our analysts Pat Leary and Shawnee Smith, and my co-host Denny Gallagher, I'm Mike Cianciolo. Good night, Marquette.